he never came. So, you know what? I guess he's not getting in my apartment. But hope we're all doing well. I see that Mr. Light and Fontano are here. Yes, Arabonia is the place that this Trails of Cold Steel occurs on the continent of Zemuria. But yeah, so basically, today's stream, at least for this part of it, will be me doing a submission run for for the Falcom RTA in the third. Putting down a marker in the stream so I know where to cut for when I put it on the archive. So basically, I am doing, Buddy Bison, I clearly state that I am doing Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 2, New Game Plus. I'm doing this on easy, but I can do it on any difficulty with not all that much variance in terms of time. I'll keep my lewd toe questions to a minimum. Nah, dude. Once I get started, once the prologue's over, you can just hit me with them. It's great. But yeah, so that's what I'm doing. I use a New Game Plus save file that is several times plussed. And I keep track of both in-game time and real time in that order, where basically this game has available an auto splitter that takes out load times and makes it so I don't have to manually split. So this is my first ever submission for any kind of marathon. I don't know what else I'm supposed to say, but basically time starts when the timer decides it starts, but usually it's just when you hit no here. So I am using a PS5 controller that through the Steam controller setup, I have made it so that R2 is a toggle, which is the turbo mode, and it's why you can see it's going even while I am not holding it. Yeah, I think that's everything that I really need to say. But yeah, 3, 2, 1, go.
I was bewildered.
So
I was impatient.
the first most important tech of any Cold Steel speedrun is holding circle at nearly all times. Because it makes the cutscenes fast forward, and it makes dialogue auto advance, and turbo mode makes it a lot easier and a lot faster. So this game is the sequel, of course, to Trails of Cold Steel 1, taking place right after, I say right after, about a month after some stuff happens, where Reen is all not exactly happy where he is, because he kind of was taken there unwillingly. Right now, I am essentially going through and making it so I am super powerful because of all the New Game Plus stuff that I got to bring. Set up my equipment, and I also set up my quartz. One of the quartz things I did, I guess I could consider it marathon safe. I don't normally do it, is I equipped hit 2, which makes it so my accuracy is 100%. Normally don't do that because Megalith makes it so I can just use S-crafts whenever I want, basically. But one of the things that I have the advantage of is I'm going to one-shot just about everything in this game. Circle trigger tech. Yeah, Reen lost the Gundam tournament. Has to find his friends, basically. So a lot of the game's movement actually comes down to me looking at the mini-map up in the top right. And then also, anytime I'm in like a close corridor situation, kind of looking in front of me to see where enemies might be. But for the most part, general map navigation is mostly dependent on the top right, because that'll help me know where my turns are and what the best lines are. Now we're getting up to the first boss. Already slower than my PB, but whatever. That's not surprising, I haven't done this in a while. Baseball says, enemies dodge more than you'd think, Cashy. Oh yes, enemies dodge a lot more than you would want. Hope you're doing well, Baseball. Enemies dodge quite a lot, which is why I did the quote-unquote safety strat of putting a hit 2 on instead of keeping on attack 2. I'm giving up a little bit of damage, but on easy, I think it's a relatively safe thing to do because I'm not going to need the damage for the most part, given that I'm going to be one-shotting everything. Now, the equipment kind of speaks for itself. I have better weapons, better armor, better boots and stuff. I also, one of the things specific to New Game Plus, is I have multiple items called the Ice Crown. The Ice Crown, each one individually gives plus 50% chance to crit, which means having 2 of them means every attack will crit. You can only do that in New Game Plus. In fact, you can... I believe you can only do it in New Game Plus because I think... Do you need to be in New Game Plus to even get access to fighting that boss? Or is that one that you can do on a regular playthrough? I can't quite remember. But basically, I have enough Ice Crowns for every member of my party that I will use. And that will make everything a lot faster. Additionally, it has the passive of every turn 10 CP is regened, which means every turn 20 CP gets back for every character that has the 2 equipped. Yeah, so that's the main thing for equipment. Then the quartz setup for Reen specifically is Megalith, which passively regens HP, EP, and CP while it's on, which makes it so he can just use S-crafts willy-nilly with no worries, and because he is super powerful, he one-shots everything, and we don't have to worry about it. And the other quartz are basically just there to make him do a lot more damage. Domination doubles damage, flat, waterfall increases damage up to 100% more, based on the amount of levels you are above the enemy. Yeah. I'm level 200. The enemies are not. I'm going to be one-shotting them easily. God damn it. Yeah, my bad. Yeah, see, melees don't... Yeah, what I shouldn't have done there is I shouldn't have used Flame Dragon. I should have used Gale, but I got antsy. I'm so nervous. It's my first submission. But yeah, so basically New Game Plus... It's the fastest because you one-shot everything real easy like, and then later on in the game, the advertisement, I'm able to skip essentially all combat and any non-key story event scenes due to the New Game Plus advantage of getting the option to do that. So we take it. Okay, I missed the Python Master. Which game is Dogi and the Ice Wyvern from? That is from Oath and Felghana. That is East Oath and Felghana. I forget which one that is. Is that 5? Or no, is that East 4 or East 3? Okay. Ice Crown is... Yeah, Ice Crown is New Game Plus only. Yeah. So I have New Game Plus quite a lot. Talking to Reen Dad before Cast unlocks it. Yes. I knew where it unlocked it. Okay, and here's the other kind of combat in this game, where basically, after a story boss, oftentimes there'll be a Divine Knight battle, where you play as Valimar and fight a big robot, because we like Gundams in this game. 5 is the Lost City of Kelfin, and that's the one that has never been localized, right? Yeah. So, a lot of this game, and its quote-unquote, I guess, speed comes down to mostly kind of comparison to casual playthroughs. It's a... I don't want to say it's a standard JRPG, but it's standard length, I would say, in that it's long. Casually, the game is long. And anything faster than that casual speed is considerably fast. So, I think the main difference between New Game Plus and just general New Game percent is mostly in the fact that battles take a lot less setup, and they take a lot less time to set up, and therefore you just get the point-to-point speed-based. It's a lot more movement and just knowing what to do. Yep, it was a game. Better than Mask of the Sun. You have to skip getting over the barrier again, so the cost of saving time is very high. Yeah, it is very high, unfortunately. You do not get to oogle at Rishiamau nearly as much. It's quite unfortunate. I do hope Bulky Snake Arm Dogi becomes one of the emotes. Not sure how many ideas you already had from that game. Okay, you know what? Dude, I'll get a Wall Crusher emote at some point. It'll be like all I can imagine is a Kool-Aid Man commercial, but instead it's Dogi. It's going at all. Yeah, we never save in the speedrun. It just doesn't. You just don't do it. Okay, now we get to this point where I believe I have to go to the tavern. No, I need to go to the Plover. Good. No, yeah, I do need to. Yeah, I need to come here because I need to do this and okay, and then we come here and leave because that's faster than finding wherever the door is to that shop is and running out. So now we are taking advantage, I guess, of the ability of the Divine Knights to travel along essentially what are ley lines and instantly teleport us about halfway across the country in search of our best friends. Many of whom are pretty girls. And others are, soft boys. And that's all that you ever want in a JRPG. Pretty girls and soft boys. Drip acquired, now the fun begins. That is very true. The drip is real in Cold Steel 2 and 4. The drip is a bit less real in 3, but still kind of there because the large cast allows for a diversity of drip. Many leaks, one might call it. And Cold Steel 1, it's not. But this is where kind of general movement becomes more important, because now going through a bit more standard dungeons and other such things, where basically there are going to be enemies that are not afraid of you, regardless of your level, so you need to kind of aim yourself in the right direction to not let them jump at you in a very suicidal attempt. That was not the case in the first game. In Cold Steel 1, that all enemies acted the same, but the characters would just comment, oh, that's a dangerous one, even if they weren't really dangerous. It was in Cold Steel 2 and beyond where they made, essentially, the dangerous enemies gluttons for punishment after a certain point, and just really try and hug you whenever possible.
It's my first
and it
time
sucks.
on the highway, actually.
But, oh well.
This area
Or get some drip, not as much. That's true. I mean, I feel like it's just a lesser degree of drip because new Class 7 is smaller, right? So you don't get as many people getting new drip. Pretty girls and soft boys, no agates allowed. I'd say he's an inner soft boy, right? Like, he's spiritually a soft boy. Killing themselves to kill your base. Yes. I'm looking at you, Rhineford HQ, in the one hallway where it's just super tiny. But yeah, so we're coming into what is a Scottish or Irish town, Celtic, and now we just need to go talk to some people and move on with the story. So we come in here, talk to her because there's no fast travel. Then we go to the inn, talk to her, because that's what we do. And then we go to the Grand Market because it puts us in a perfect position to walk forward and initiate the last mandatory talk sequence. And then I can go to Grand Market again to initiate this. And it sits me down, and I just hold right. And then it asks me, hey, go to East Celtic and solve a puzzle. Okay. The puzzle is actually pointless, because the minimap has the exclamation points telling you where you need to go. And also, there's about 3 things on this map that are notable in any way, shape, or form. Best Girl Becky, bold to make that claim. I feel like very few and far between people would make the claim that Becky is best girl of Trails of Cold Steel. But I can appreciate the audacity, baseball. I mean, we all know, based on the little metal poster right behind me, who I might consider best girl. But hey, no judging in this house. Luckily, it's an apartment, so it's not a house, so I'll judge as much as I damn well please. Haha, lol. No, it's fine.
Yeah.
Frankly,
It's
it's whatever. It does not matter. Okay, so now we come in here. We got first party member, Machias Regnitz. He is identified by the fact that he wears glasses and uses a shotgun. Those are the two identifiers. So now this introduces mandatory quests and optional quests. Most chapters have a mandatory quest that you must do. Others, and the others are optional, so we don't do them. Do I go to west? Yeah, I go to west. So the big big part of this section in particular is going to get the herbs to concoct some herbal remedies for whatever it may be, whatever purpose. So we have to come back in here, avoid the big guy, and then we just run around that one. It runs away from us, and then once we do here, we return to Keldic. It's fine. What's your definition of a soft boy? I can't imagine Olivier filling that. I would say my definition of a soft boy is you know, it's just one of those things where you know and you see it. Oh god. So one thing that always gets me is that one starts on the negative instead of on the positive. You have to go down to hit wait to call into the soft boy and the pretty girl. I don't think Olivier would fall into the soft boy category, although one could say his heart is very wide and hearts are soft. So, hey, maybe. Not sure. But yeah, Becky is a pretty darn good NPC. I'm not going to deny that. She's got sass. And also, she's got a brogue, or whatever it's called. Are they supposed to be Scottish or Irish? I think I talked about this in my last stream, where I'm not exactly sure about the accent. But yeah, so luckily, that lizard kind of just stays still and doesn't move very much. But here we are meeting two more party members, one of which we only use in, I believe, Hard and Nightmare. Basically, Elliot is someone I equip and get ready to use when I'm in those difficulty levels, because the
Just keep following the highway.
I'll say, I guess the quote-unquote final dungeon's boss, it's not really the final dungeon, Vermilion Apocalypse, has 3 phases, and I use him in one of the phases. So now we're just gathering information about things and stuff. Yeah. Becky is Scottish. Okay. So Scottish. A human male with human emotions? Soft boy detected. I bet some people think. Probably. What, you're not just an absolute meathead with no emotional intelligence? Ah, okay, soft boy.
I'm totally fine, and I'm not a cat.
Pablo, I don't freaking know.
You think that guy even came in here?
Probably not.
He's not someone you see every day for sure.
But yeah, we are going through trails of cold duct, and then we are trying to straight line method our way across these railroad tracks. But yeah, so overall, it's a pretty good game. And you always have to remember to be holding circle, or at least know when you need to start holding circle, because if I hold circle during normal movement, that's actually what makes you walk. So the game just loves to be annoying like that. Also, it's the, essential equivalent to the B button to the cancel, so you can't just hold it all the time, or else you won't be able to do menus. Don't need healing from Elliot if you never get hit. That's very true. I only equip Elliot in Hard and Nightmare, mostly because he's an additional damage dealer, and arts-based damage dealers are a tad more consistent, because if the boss survives and you equip them right, then you're not looking at the delay from an S-craft.
Getting closer.
And it's guys, because you need to spam menu cancel. Yes. But yeah, so overall, this game, pretty darn swell. I've been thinking about it more since I have been thinking about the run itself, and I think I'm becoming more and more understanding that I think that this is, of the Cold Steel games, I think this is my favorite. With 4 as a close second. But yeah, here's where we're getting into the boss fights, where most of the boss fights begin and end in a moment where I just use an S-craft. Because Reen will always have 200 CP to use an S-craft, and S-crafts, both, 1, do a lot of damage, and 2, never miss. And that's really what makes it important. So, the big part about the Gundam battles, the Divine Knight battles, is enemies will have different stances, and you can attack different parts of their body. And depending on where you attack, you will be able to have a greater likelihood of doing a critical hit, and it's denoted by the number of stars. Because I'm New Game Plus, I already have existing stars. I would say 3 if I had skip all. That's a hot take. The fact that it doesn't have skip all makes it the worst. Number 1, number 2. Surprisingly, number 2, it's number 4. Yeah. Like, honestly, I think it's, 1, the structure. I like the ability to... I like the more open structures of 2 and 4. And I think in terms of existing story elements that are touched upon, I think the fact that Cold Steel 2 deals more just with Erebonia instead of looping in a whole bunch of elsewhere, I think it lets you enjoy this arc's characters more instead of taking the focus away from them. Which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. I think it's good in the grand scheme of the arc itself. But in terms of game to game, if I were to compare it, I did a not correct. I should have gone to the tavern, but whatever, because you need to come and find out about snowboarding, which we don't do. And then we go back and we ignore all our friends because you know what? We're a tired person. We're trying to fix a civil war. We don't have time for friends.
Here's a little something from the guild.
It's everywhere, Zerebonia Bison. Yes, you're getting annexed, and you're getting annexed. You know, that's very true. That's very true. So now we come here, and then we're going to be teleporting back out once more. And this is where... Osborne, please. Yeah, basically. And then this is where we basically pick whoever, because it doesn't matter who we pick. Because we're still at a point in the game where no one else is going to be doing attacks other than Reen. And if they do, it's by accident. So, yeah. Now we are in Highlands, which is one of the more PC-intensive areas of the game. Luckily, my PC is able to handle it fine, even on the highest settings, which, you know, for a PS3 game isn't all that high, but it's still considerable because it's the largest map in the game, and it's all loaded all at once. Although you do have to be cognizant of the slopes going up like the crags, because those will slow you down. More like a Vita game. Yeah, I mean, it was on the Vita, was it not? So, yeah. But, yeah, this is a longer part, a longer walking part, because we don't have horses or motorcycles yet to get across this area. And the in-plot reason is basically because we just teleport here and can't use our giant robot to walk us across the fields. And presumably in terms of gameplay, it's meant to kind of show you the scale of this area as well. MOP, haha. The mean green bean meme machine. Basically, yeah. But luckily, because it's so wide open, you don't really run the risk of accidentally encountering enemies except for one flying snake by the Nord village. In any fantasy war, why would you give full military power to a 16-year-old sergeant? A culture sergeant, just trust me on this one. Well, I will say they never really give full military power to Reen in particular. The most they give him is one ship, and even then it's with adult supervision.
I'm glad I still remember how to ride a horse.
Okay, but now that we have a horse, we get across the area much faster, and I'm still using the mini-map to make sure I am maneuvering around the edges goodly, which is a word, because going off visuals is actually a little bit annoying. So that flying snake back there is the one that could be in like the middle of the path and be really annoying, but it wasn't this time. And you need to be very careful holding circle when you're on the horses, because circle is dismount, which makes you go slower. Okay, so luckily Reen's S-Craft hits everywhere on the field, so in this case there weren't any sub-members. We didn't have more than 4 people. So in disadvantage battles, your party will just get randomized, essentially, with any sub-members having a chance to be popped in. Because there are only 4, it just made it so I didn't have any Arcus links, I believe, and which is pretty alright. So we're going to Highlands North, and yeah, so in future disadvantage battles, I have to be careful to I have to be careful because if I habitually choose the one S-Craft position that Reen is usually in, then chances are it's not going to be him, so it will be someone else's S-Craft, which might not hit the entire field. Break time. Thank you for dropping by, Mr. Light. Hope to see you later. Whether it's in this stream or another one. But yeah, so in any cutscenes that you go to on a horse, my I guess safety strat is to just wait until the cutscene officially starts. Don't try and pre-hold circle, because you will dismount, and that will lose you some amount of time. And now here we see 2 more party members that we will soon get. And the thing that occurs in every fight whenever you're about to essentially fight with party members is that they are always in the battle party. They swap out 2 members other than Reen to have in the battle party. So those ones, luckily, Reen is able to usually take care of in one hit, and you don't have to worry about those people being subbed out because it doesn't matter. Now, the blue hair girl, Milliam, the one with the cool hat that basically jumped on us, she is one of the party members that we will be using. So it's I would say it's in my best interest to equip them now. However, I'm not going to, and I was holding circle, because there are scripted losses in the game. Now, I don't want to equip someone that needs to go down and accidentally pick them later and have them survive anything. So what I usually do is I wait until I'm beyond any scripted losses, and then equip my entire squad.
We should avoid getting too close.
Agreed. Let's go another way.
Yeah, and that's not an issue because these characters as well are also level 200. They are all max level. Every character I have, every character I play as in this game is max level. Even the support characters that are only there momentarily. So, based on that alone, if I do need to attack with people, they're usually able to one-shot enemies in their own right. Now, in this area in particular, I should only need to rely on one of them, I think. Because there is one disadvantage battle that could lead up to Reen not being the one to do the attack. And chances are it won't be. Now, we have several scripted fights coming up. And because I was safe in Equip Hit 2, I can use Gale EX instead of any other moves or any other S-crafts from other people, because I don't have to worry about him missing, even on his regular crafts, which are not guaranteed hits. And this is the disadvantage battle, where I'm not using Reen's S-craft. And I'm not using his S-craft because anyone else's S-craft is strong enough to do it. Unfortunately, I didn't get lucky, and the people that were there didn't have any fulls. Milliam has a full field S-craft, but luckily, Gaius's was large enough after moving it to take everyone out in one shot. I didn't want to use Reen's S-craft there because this fight is so close in position. To the disadvantage fight that I don't believe Reen actually has enough time to regenerate CP to the point where he has an S-craft for the fight. Or it's just barely enough to get one out, but it's not 200 CP, which gets bonus damage for being full charge. And I didn't talk about this, but once they introduced secondary characters, basically what they do, these other icons on the field, they are able to buff Reen in his Gundam, or they are able to also do an attack. I did that fight terribly, but oh well. So, different characters buff different things, and the attack elements don't really matter in the Gundam fights. So, the one overall, I would say, unanimously best sub-character is Instructor Sarah, because her attack debuffs the enemy's strength and speed, making them attack less, as far as I understand, because they go slower, and hit less, which is better on higher difficulties where you have to worry about that, because you don't want to die. Weird Sky was how I went through my entire CS4 playthrough. How much time in fights do I have to sweep everyone? Yeah, right. Now, I have learned from previous playthroughs, or previous runs of the game, I have 2 opened water bottles to my right, so I don't have to worry about uncapping it. So you, once again, just pick whatever random people are there. The cursor was flying left to right because I was holding R1, because that's the run button. It doesn't make anything go faster in the cutscenes, but it's just a button that I hold because you're moving all the time. Okay, that water is done. I'm going to have to move on to the other water soon. Now we are in Legram, which is on like the southern edge of Arabonia, right by a big lake. Trying to swear as little as possible in this. Trying to be professional. And this is where we're going to recruit 2 more of our party members after we take a quick boat ride, which they are going to offer us. Because we're going to a cursed castle, which is a dungeon in the first game, and I believe it's also a mini dungeon in this game in a side quest, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Also good for cheesing that one mech fight side quest in Act 2. Freaking night. Yes, Nightheart. That is a mandatory quest, so we will have to see that. But, yeah, Nightheart is not great. But, arguably, no Divine Knight battle is as annoying as the S fight, because, we will see when we get to it, but it is actually just terrible. But these are two other party members, Laura, who we will be using in the run, and Emma, who we will not be. Laura, so basically every character that we regularly use in the run is defined by their high strength value.
That's that.
Because a high strength value correlates well with the domination and waterfall quartz, to have very high S-craft damage. And most fights, almost every fight in this game is ended with S-crafts. Every boss fight is ended with S-crafts. 1 or 2. So it's very important that the characters that you always have on hand that are always active are doing S-crafts and are doing them at high damage yields. So you want the people that have the highest strength stats doing them, while also having the best area of effect. So, Reen we use because he's the main character and therefore we have to use him. Laura and Milliam are both extremely strong characters that have wide, if not full field S-crafts. And then we use Sarah later because, one, she's used for the one skip of the game, or the one, I guess, probably unintended tech, as well as the fact that she has a full field S-craft and is quite strong. Basically, anyone who lets you Unga Bunga big number is good. Yes, exactly. Now, there are other characters that are good, but they are more good in a casual way. Fee, as an evasion tank, is a very good casual character. However, we don't exactly let the enemies attack her, or we don't really let the enemies attack in this run, so her evading them is never going to occur. Machias is good at supporting other members by, using his Excel bullet move to let them get more turns. However, we can just S-break and insert our turn wherever we want. Eustace is a very good support with his shield move. However, we don't really get attacked. Emma and Elliot are EP users, and therefore their S-crafts are alright, but they're not fantastic. They're more useful casually because EP is pretty awesome, has higher hit rates, and you don't have to worry about regenning it like CP usually. And then Gaius, his S-craft is fine, his strength is fine, but basically everyone else is just more fine. And that's what it comes down to. Okay, so here we're basically looking for some people. Well, not looking for some people. I'm doing this very bad. We're looking for some people to find information on our friends. I was able to fast travel here directly, but I forgot to, so I ran here. I can do that better. And then we fast travel to Central Plaza to just get us out. It's the first one. Any fast travel will actually take us out of there to get that cutscene, and then we have to fast travel to Central Plaza again because it doesn't actually take us there. Then we have to go to the airport because we're going to go meet the final member of Class 7 at this point, who is a noble. His name is Eustace Alberea, and he's alright. He's pretty cool. Yeah, basically, Fee is cheesing 100%. Well, actually, yeah. Basically, perfect dodging. Fee as a dodge tank is the best to cheese essentially any boss Emma, with her crescent shell craft, is very good for a lot of the cryptids. So now we are doing one of the two motorcycle races in this game. Now, winning the race gets us bonus AP. Which, while that would generally be non-optimal, we win anyway because getting there faster ends the cutscene, and holding circle gets us past that thing. Now, Eustace is very weak compared to Reen, so I can one-shot him. Because I put hit 2 on, I didn't have to worry about a dodge. Now, we're coming up to a scripted loss, which is why I didn't want to equip everyone with their stuff, making them super defensive, because we need to essentially do enough damage to proc McBurn into a state of, hey, you need to kill us. So what we do is we S-craft him, and we S-craft him for the sole reason that after an S-craft you get a lot of delay, and for whatever reason he is not killing me.
Wasn't strong enough.
I don't know why Claire survived, but oh well.
Onward. Come on.
But basically, this is an impossible to win fight. That was terrible. I think that's the worst McBurn I've ever gotten. Does Claire have Angel on in this point? But here we meet Instructor Sarah of Class 7. Angel is a Master Quartz that reses someone when they get KO'd, which is why later, at another scripted boss fight where I have to lose, I need to make sure I don't pick Elisa, because that's her default Master Quartz. Okay, so 1 to the right is optimal here, but now it's not. Aqua Matter. So tanks do not have a weak spot. They are purely just do it. And as you can see, I just did a craft as Valimar. Flame Dragon is the best craft, at least speedrun-wise, because it does damage and usually inflicts burn, which does damage on the enemy's turn as well. So that's just useful in general. So, yeah, that's what we do. Now we're coming up to a not safe for work scene. It's honestly pretty tame, but we're basically inviting a friend to come bathe with us. I pick Elliot. I've never timed out all of these interactions, but I'm willing to bet that the initial choice of Elisa is longer because she is a potential romance option, and probably has more dialogue. So I pick my soft boy Elliot because, you know what? He's the next closest one down.
Here's a little something
So that's just easiest to menu to,
right, I guess.
while also believing that it's probably faster. But I'm willing to bet that even if you timed out every single person, it probably would still just be fastest to either pick Elisa, Elliot, or whoever's at the bottom of the list, which might be Instructor Sarah, but I'm not sure. Just because menuing it down to whoever is the canonically shortest probably would be pretty slow in general. So here I am making sure I pick not Elisa, because she is basically going to res at this point and elongate the fight. So they spied up and removed enchant from Shulk's Monado skills. Ooh, okay. Is that just a really good move? Okay. And this is a fight where we're fighting against a previous Class 7 member. And we need to get him down essentially to... I think we just need to get him to an HP threshold. I think that's what it is. I'm not exactly sure, but at some point he's just going to super move us. And that super move will KO us in one shot. And there we go. So now we are about to enter Uh, the trails, the trail's mainstay of, hey, here's a party or a large area with a whole bunch of people that you want to talk to. Mechon are no longer an enemy. Ah, okay. It's only purpose to let others damage the Mechon like shot. Ah, okay. Because I'm guessing the plot of Xenoblade Chronicles 1, which Fontano you're playing and referencing, I'm guessing at the end of it, like, they get rid of all Mechon or something. Okay, but yeah, so this is primarily just a whole bunch of talking that we skip through. We're meeting essentially with all the enemies and finding out what makes them tick, why they're doing what they do, their backstories, and frankly, none of them are all that great. And honestly, I would say that a lot of it's overreactive and kind of crazy. But whatever. Because of plot. Yeah. Okay, but the annoyingest part about this area is you're in a ship, so there's not all that much wide berth, but they just love to put small pillars in your way to make it so you can't just easily get to every single place you want to go to. Also, yes, Trails Dog Party. Blue Blonde McBurns are fun. Yes, they are quite fun. Those two, I would say, have... Well, I'd say McBurns has the most plot. I don't want to say relevance, but it is the most interesting in terms of threads that are put out there. Like, additional information. All the others are just kinda eh. Like, V and S, I'm like, you guys just make me dislike you as villains. These guys, it's kind of like, I can respect your professionalism, but you're also kind of terrible for doing it just because you were paid. Altina, it's classic misunderstanding. I wasn't trying to be a weird guy to you while you slept. I was just trying to be a good older brother. Yeah. They are fun until you've sped through them for the 30th time, in which you should just skip them. Yup. And then the annoying one to remember is Duvali, because she's the only one that you actually have to go into the door. Everyone else you knock, but hers you have to walk into. And her exclamation point is at the other end of the room, making it so you can't see it on the minimap. You just have to know that that's the room you need to go into. Because the minimap, to my chagrin, and I've said it many times to my great annoyance, is I wish I could pull it out a little bit more. Someone wants to make a mod for this game, pulling out the minimap a bit more. Maybe we can get it cleared with the speedrunners, the speedrun people. But this is Princess Alfin. She's one of the princesses of the Empire of Arabonia. She is our sister's best friend, and she has the hots for Reen, because who doesn't in this game? And basically, by saying, hey, you're loved by many people, and hugging us, we're now able to control what I lovingly call our power albino form, where we turn albino and get super powerful. Crow, yes. I mean, I'd say Crow still loves Reen. But here we come in again, once more, with some, hey, look at that, we got some crafts. Now, if I didn't have hit 2 on, I probably would have done basic attacks, and Alfin can only use arts, so her basic attack defaults to being an art that you just rapid fire press, and she casts fast enough to not really have it feel all that slow. But I'm still evading all these enemies. Interestingly enough, they're robots, but still fear for their life. Similar to what I would assume the droids in Star Wars feel. And hot take here, I like the droids. I think they're goofy. I think they're a good addition. I think they're just absolutely awesome. They're lanky, adorable, and don't at me. Unless you're gonna agree with me, at which point, still don't at me. I'm not that deep into Star Wars fandom to really care. But yeah, this is where we fight against our friend Crow, who is also noticeably white-haired, although his is kind of more naturally silver. Yeah. So, frankly, after not having done this speedrun for a few weeks, I think the last time I did it was like a month and a half ago, maybe more, I'd say I'm doing pretty good. I'm only 25 minutes over, or 25 seconds, god, 25 minutes. And the interesting thing is you can see, like, the load times, like, taking out the load times actually significantly speeds up the game. Roger, roger, am I? Roger, roger. Roger, roger. But now we are on the Courageous, and there's Best Girl, so excuse me while I just...
Yay! That turned out great.
There we go. So we are on the Courageous, which is basically our fast travel hub. This is our base now. It's where basically we always have to go back to for plot, and it's kind of where we dive in deep to what I like most about CS2 and being able to revisit any places that maybe you didn't clear up everything. Captain Toe, yep. You didn't clear up everything. Because in Cold Steel 1 and 3, they're very linear. Once you leave an area, you can never really go back for the most part. So if you miss something, you can never get it back. And that kind of is annoying for achievements. But in 2 and 4, you can, and it's a lot better. But we are about to enter the section where we go around the ship and look at everything. But I am going to equip everyone with their stuff, because now I have them, and I don't need them to lose just yet. So you can see I have a couple mirror items in my inventory. I don't like those, but oh well. So I am equipping Murakumo on her, de-equipping all of that. Physical, I don't need Aeolus Gem, I need Domination, I don't need Attack 2, I need Waterfall. I don't need Aegis, I need Tauros, I don't need these, I need physical damage, I don't need Aeolus, I need Domination, I don't need Attack 2, I need Waterfall. And then lastly, I forget what one I equip her with, unfortunately. What one do I do it with? Is it Vermilion? I think it's Vermilion. Unequip all of those. Physical. She auto puts Domination on. I don't need defense. I need Waterfall. So each of the ones that I put on are ones that somehow modify strength in different ways. Murakumo makes it so crits do more damage. Because I have 2 Ice Crowns on, every attack is a crit, and therefore I get a high benefit from that on Laura, who is one of the biggest damage dealers in the game. Tauros increases damage you do, but also increases the amount of time it takes for your next action to occur. And I believe Vermilion, as I saw really quickly, increases damage based on the amount of HP you have. I don't take much damage in this entire thing, so I'm always at 100%, so I'm always doing more damage. And that's that. Once again, if I did this run more often, I would remember all that, but I remembered it, I'd say, pretty darn fast. So now, because I did it all, I can come up here and do everything. And I go to the bridge again because that's a little bit faster. Then I talk to Best Girl Toa, choose his destination, and then they take me here. Now, I did pick very specific characters because one aspect of the game is going around and recruiting all the Thor students that got scattered, and basically to recruit 2 of them, which are the only 2 we ever actually have to recruit manually as per a quest. You need Fee and you need Laura. Now that guy I was able to recruit a lot faster because in New Game Plus I keep my newspaper items, which means I didn't have to go buy it. So yeah, it makes it a lot faster. So I need a fee for her, and now I go back to the crate, just skip that, and now that I've acquired a couple people, I can now report my quests. What this does is it makes it so this cutscene occurs, but I don't rank up, because I'm only at 59 AP instead of 60. So now I don't have to worry about it. Now I can come in here, change costume to hair down, because that's actually vital to the game, because it makes certain things go faster. It doesn't, but you know what? I have it. Then I go to Grelia Proving Ground, and then walk over here, because this is the character that I need Laura for. And now we can go back to the Courageous, come here, choose destination, go to the Watchtower, and now we're gonna go help Mint, who is an engineer girl, and who we also want to recruit, to find her missing thing. Now, I need to remember that there's one here, one in the vent also on the first floor, because I remember last time I did the speedrun, I forgot the one that was on the first floor vent. Right over here, you check in here, it's not anything. And then we're coming up here and we're checking, I believe, the first room, no, second room. Checking the second room on the counter, and then the first room on the next one on the bed. But this floor first, we need to walk over here. And once again, this is where I kind of wish the minimap was a bit more widened out, because it would let you see kind of where the exclamation points are. But now we're going back up to the roof of the Watchtower, because somehow the item got on top of this dumb spire way at the top. Somehow. But oh well. Now we're going back to the Courageous, choose destination. We're going to Lake Lacrima. We're going to the Lakeside Cabin, because they're going to tell us to go kill something. Now we go to North Highlands North. We get on a bike, because I prefer the bike over the horse. I don't know why. I think it's just a bit more relaxing. Also, I think it goes well with my jacket. And yes, the Courageous is a sweet ride. I did not miss the comment, baseball. I've just been going at many words a minute. And bike doesn't get spooked. Yeah, right? And then here's another thing, we S-craft.
That's that.
I take a drink of water to parch my thirst. I yeet the empty water bottle to make sure I don't accidentally grab it in the future. And then I do this, and then I walk out the door, because now we get initiating to story cutscene, which is how this game runs, where after you complete the required quests, story events happen, and it prompts you to be like, hey, you can finish the optional quests if you want to at this point, or you can continue on with the story. I'm going to turn on a fan, because it is getting warm, and there's cutscene happening, so I got a little bit of time. Not much time, because the game goes fast. Oh no, I forgot, do that and do that. Pick those characters, because they're strong, and if I need to use them, they're good. Okay. Don't know how much time I wasted there, but luckily, when I got back, the cursor was on the correct slot. Now, one thing that I never stated was my splits. So my splits are based off of the bosses. I don't know why I chose Lordly Flare there. That's actually the worst of the moves, but whatever. Unfortunately, gonna do that. Thundering Roar is largely considered to be the best side move, and also it's very speedrun friendly because it is her first one. She's able to I'm able to just mash it on whoever is active, and it does. So thank you, game designers, because it's almost like they know. So now we're running in here, and we're in our first kind of annoying-y area, because the corridors are tight, and it's annoying. But hopefully I remember all the pathing, because that is where people get caught up. So that was pretty good, and now we got vents. So that was good. So run in here, run in there, and we run in here, again this vent, Okay, I apologize. I'm focusing a bit more on this because I usually get lost in these dungeons at some point. That dog was dangerously close to hitting me.
Touches my clothes.
If it was looking at me, it would have ran away, which would have been good, but I didn't make contact, so it doesn't really matter. No time lost, only time saved. So now we are at the boss of the dungeon, and we are rescuing Soft Boy's sister, and we have to fight these big dogs, which we are going to one-shot.
We'll cut our own path.
Now, what I don't know is how I somehow went from 25 seconds over to a minute over. What I presume is in my best run, I waited for quite a while to equip everyone. I think that that's what occurred. I don't exactly have a set point when I do it. It kind of goes run by run whenever I decide. So this is another... this is at the point where, because we have the Courageous, our free days are now in whatever town or area the events occur in. So because the place was close to Keldic, the free day was in Keldic, and I have to go to the, essentially, the airport, quote-unquote, the East Keldic Highway, where the ship is docked, to leave. Okay, Mecha Mage, yep, there we go, got those 2 required quests. So you. Those are all fine. So we are about to do the thing that you were talking about, baseball, earlier. Said sister's voiced by one of the localizers, by the way. Fun fact. Oh, nice, that's awesome. Didn't know that. Okay, now we have this NPC who allows us to essentially equip quartz into Valimar. And we equip the Power 3, Power 2, and Speed 3 orbs. Now, those are orbs that you cannot sell, so if I wanted to have an optimal set out for them, I would have to essentially play through the game so many times without buying the ones that I don't need. Would that be difficult? Maybe, maybe not. Not exactly sure. Don't feel like doing it. I'm doing the worm quest first because I like it the least. So basically, we need to travel along this highway to such a point where there are going to be big worms.
Let's ride.
I always get the wrong one. I always get the wrong one. And luckily, you can just S-craft it, it's fine.
Okay. It's safe.
Okay, and then we do that. Go call the Courageous,
Where do you
choose
want to go?
destination,
Leave it
Twin
to me.
Dragon's Bridge,
Let's
get the
ride.
bike out again. So in fact, the NPC is not missable. Although you can't get her on your ship early, she will show up regardless. Yes, and that is why we don't do the side content to go get her. Which is going to Nord Highlands and talking to her, I believe. Because she's automatically going to a giant ship, there's no reason for us to. Everyone's favorite recurring bosses. Yeah, basically. Okay, so his is 1 left. For right now, we swap out to her. Thundering Roar, 1 left. There we go. He does that. Still 1 left. Do that. 1 left. There we go. Okay. And now we have enough CP to come over here. Flame Dragon, ignore it. So Sarah only got to do her thing 1 time, but that's also because we have the Speed 3 big quartz on, Valimar quartz on, so it's fine. And he goes quite quick against things on easy. So now we get that, go back to the Courageous, and move on with the story. So this is Angelica Rogner, one of the more problematic characters. Whatever, we're not going to talk about it. She's a fine character, but kind of... she's that archetype. Just... here we go. You. Confirm. Now, I need to remember to go to the right places when I come into this town. Because there are a lot of places I need to go. And there is an optimal order
Please, take care
and
around
less
that one.
optimal order. And also there's a number of places you just have to go to. So it's never great. Okay. So first is RF Store. Talk to him. Then we go to Baronia Daily Goods. Talk to her. Then we go to Ruhr Airport.
Been a while since we were last in Ruhr Airport.
Look at all this. It's fine, can't be problematic if we can't read or dialogue. Basically, running for corporate HQ to get this cutscene, because it doesn't allow you to go in. Once you get here, it automatically procs it. And that's for the purpose of being able to get to the church faster, because this one doesn't have a fast travel point. And then run out here and come down over here to get this. And then we fast travel back to Baronia Daily Goods because it's on the lower level, and exiting the door initiates that cutscene. Now, if I wanted to do Baronia Daily Goods last, that would be fine. However, I would have to go forward to talk and then find my way to the door. But whenever you fast travel to a place, it immediately puts you in front of the door. So I would just know to hold back at that point. And that's why I believe Optimal is keeping that last. But we have met up with Angelica. She joins our party. She's a special sub-character, but she's one of the few special sub-characters that I actually bother to swap out for ideal characters at this point. And now, because I can do this, we are going on this road, which is pretty easy to navigate because you just follow the road. But I swapped out all my characters to optimal ones because there are several fights that come in here where I don't want to have to worry about people, CP, or anything.
This was a real hike last time.
So it's just easier for me to have all the characters I like in the party, ones that I know are equipped and can get CP back passively just from existing in the fights, because they each have 2 ice crowns on, meaning every character, every turn, regardless of their turn, another party member's turn, or an enemy turn, gains 20 CP. So in fights that usually only take 1 turn, you only need to fight 5 times, and then you're back at S-Craft, but that's not usually the case. But I have hit 2 on, so I can do Flame Dragon, and I don't have to worry about these guys. In other ones, I would might S-Craft. That's not correct English, but I used it several times because I like the way it sounds. Now, in other harder difficulties where I wouldn't use hit 2, although I'm pretty sure I should probably just incorporate it into every difficulty, I would be using S-Crafts on each of these individual fights instead of using Reen for all of them. But his passive CP regen is decently strong, and his Ice Crowns are good enough himself to make it so he gets 20 CP back at the end of each fight, because the next turn in the battles actually happens, but the battles just end on them. So now I have an S-Craft ready to go with Reen here. So now that I'm thinking about it, I should probably just incorporate hit 2 into every single run. Thank you, Submission Run, for putting that into my thing. Oh, would you, your S-Craft? Yes, I would do a lot of S-Crafts. Basically, I would do S-Crafts with different characters, and what that would make it happen is all of them would have really good ones, and they would take out the battles just as fast, but any accidental battles I encounter in this area, the Rhymeford Corporate HQ, which is annoying, and I've referenced it since the start of this stream, they would get their S-Craft back by the end. Now, luckily, I'm able to just do this pretty fast, and I was able to have enough CP for that battle to do an S-Craft. Now, remembering where to go is an important thing to do, and this is the primest example of why I wish the minimap could go out farther, because you are so close on these corporate floors that it seems a bit unneeded. Now, certain enemies are just going to block the way, so you just have to take them out because their girth is just too large. Now, this is the enemy that I'm hoping will give me luck, but I'm not presuming, so that, yep, first unintended battle. I could have tried to base run away, but doing a smoke grenade is a guaranteed. In Cold Steel 3 and 4, they made it a lot better, because if you just do run and you have smoke grenades, it prompts you with, do you want to use a smoke grenade automatically? This game, it does not do that, but oh well. Honestly, I will say that this was a pretty good way, even with me taking that combat, because most of the time I take a wrong turn and hit a dead end. because the mini-map isn't far enough out for me to see the entire thing. But darn, even with how fast I thought I was going, I still lost 11 seconds. Oh well. Not a big deal. While I would have liked it if this were a PB run or a new world record run on submission, I was not expecting it. And certainly if I were to do it in a marathon setting, I don't think I would get it there either. Of course, that PB I think was done back to back. I think I did like that one. I think for a little bit I just did like 3 or 4 streams where I just did the speedrun of this game in New Game Plus on Easy. And, excuse me, and I just really went at it and tried to, like, in those 4 runs, just get it as good as possible. So this is one of the more annoying enemies, because he's just big, but he is not as annoying as a future enemy. A future enemy is a lot worse. But luckily, you can just, it's just a safe bet to hit one to the right. That's usually where his weakest point is. And now we're getting to an interesting point, because this is one of the few times in Trails of Cold Steel where there's a named character who dies and isn't somehow saved through ridiculous Deus Ex Machina stuff. So yeah. Okay, so now we're here, and we need to go to the Ruhr Airport, and we need to leave. So unlike Celtic, they're not nice and just make it so once you go right to the area, you leave, because there's actually a bonding event, optional things that you can do with other characters to find out more about them, is actually in the airport. So, rip Comrade V, yeah, basically, rip.
Okay.
I mean, I've said it multiple times before in previous streams, V's backstory of I wanted to kill Osborne because I took a job as a Jaeger Corps, trying to intimidate, hurt, or kill people for money, but I was shown up by them because they were better, so I want revenge, is kind of a weak statement, given that we've seen so many other Jaeger Corps just be like, you know, these people were enemies one day, and then they paid us, and now they're our friends. So this is one of the times where there are no required quests. It's just go do this one thing in this one area. I did specifically pick Emma because essentially we're entering this point where we're going back to these things that were optional previously, going to these shrines to get some special ore to make our weapons awesome. Each of the shrines is based on one of the primary elements. And you need Emma in your party to be able to go into the second part of the shrines, which kind of sucks, because you would think, if that's the case, why is she not a mandatory party member? Great question. I don't know. I think it was a bit of an oversight. Of course, most JRPG people, developers, are probably not making their games with the intent that you skip through everything and try to get through it as fast as possible. So I guess I can give them a little bit of leeway there, but whatever. So the shrines usually have some kind of gimmick, and those gimmicks are usually involving hitting a thing with a certain weapon type. Now, certain characters have multiple weapon types, and you can see it with Fee and Sarah particularly, where they have the slash, and I am just doing this terribly, they have the slash and pierce weapon types, and essentially the game just passively has both weapon types on their attack. It's not separated based on whether it's the ranged or melee version of their field attack, it just is there. So the fires have to be taken out by a slash attack. Reen could do that dungeon. However, Fee has it at range, so I don't need to get up close to them. I can hit them from a distance, which makes it a little bit faster.
Okay.
So that's why I pick her. Also, I think that her ranged attack is a bit more, I don't want to say stable, but I feel like I'm able to judge the distance it will happen at more accurately, which is why I use her instead of Sarah here. Yeah. So we did the one shrine, we come back here, we can't fast travel out of here, we actually have to leave because that's considered a dungeon. And that's considered the required quest. So now, if I so desire, I could go do other things, but I choose help out to advance the story. Now we have a big sword, and some sad stuff happened. Now, this is one thing where it doesn't matter who I pick, because they're just having us essentially pick a party because we're going out into the field, and the game is designed that way. It doesn't actually matter who we bring. What matters is that I don't slow myself down by caring who I bring, or accidentally holding R1 and making it so the cursor freaks out. Because the only thing we're doing here is visiting various people that are sad because the nobles, who are essentially one half of this civil war, have decided, or one of the people in the Noble Alliance has decided to essentially get revenge on us doing our thing by attacking an innocent town and killing people and burning it down. But yeah, now we're going to pick our party again, and this is where it actually matters. And this is actually leading up to the point where I do need to actively remember that once this section is done, I need to re-equip Sarah with all her stuff, because she gets de-equipped because of story reasons. Otto, yeah. That guy we talked to for cumulatively less than 5 seconds in the run, I think. But yeah, it is quite sad. He is another named character that actually canonically dies. Cold Steel 2, full of them. Best game. No, it's not. It's not the best game. It's my favorite game, but that does not mean best. There are better parts about every game if you take them on their own in different ways. So this is arguably the most annoying Divine Knight fight because it is very much a toss-up because she dodges. Her thing is she dodges, so you are depending on essentially RNG to hit, and you're attacking the piece that is, most likely to break and get you a little bit of extra damage, but it's by no means guaranteed. So the partner that you use is more important, and also using Flame Dragon once it is available. Best game because we killed the most innocent old man in the series. No, it's the best game because we killed the most people in the series. And they are assumedly dead. This game has the most death in it. But yeah, so he's able to save the hot anime woman, but not the big buff anime man. Because, of course, but no matter. So Sarah decides to solo these guys, and she's super equipped and is able to one-shot them. But she is now taken out of our party, and the game, casually, nicely, nice enough, takes all her quartz off. And I think her equipment as well. Which, casually, it's like, okay, I understand it. That way you can re-equip someone else with the quartz. However, speedrun wise, it kind of sucks because I need to re-equip her. Now here we're going through, and I'm kind of clearing the hallways because they are stuffed with people and things, and if there's things I don't like, it's clutter.
Must we really?
Went the wrong way. Okay, here we go, and then up the stairs, and then we're coming in here, over here, over here, and into here. Might be biased, but one time I had a fight with S that she was charging for an attack. Didn't dodge anything. Oh, damn. Color me lucky. Yeah, I've gotten a few lucky ones, right, where she only dodges like once or twice, but like, it's easily the most variable fight in I'd say in the entire game, because there's nothing you can do. There's no hit courts for Valimar. And therefore, you are stuck with whatever dodge rate she has.
You're cornered.
And yeah, the guy who burned down the town was used as his dad, so we're here to apprehend him. So yay. But this is a fight against Duvali and a couple knights. Or not knights, but a couple big robots. And we just one-shot them, because whatever. Yeah. That's that. Okay, but this is actually one where one of the few rest days where there are mandatory events that we actually have to go see. One of them is going to talk to the person that we just saved, S, after she attacked us and annoyed us. Doobie! Yeah, dude, Doobie is a great character. Not gonna lie. But yeah, so, yeah, we come in here, talk to her, she gives us even more of her backstory, tells us about, like, oh, I'm tired or whatever. Yeah, she was a member of the church for a bit, but then a railroad was built through her hometown, and then she was like, ooh, I hate the guy who made the railroad happen. I'm gonna kill him. Yay.
Wow, that must have been tough.
Great reason.
Oh,
Great backstory.
okay.
Of course, it's been a while since I've casually played the game, so I'm probably highly oversimplifying it. But hey, do you remember that game that hasn't been localized yet? That game that we're getting in, like, June? Or March, maybe? I can't remember. I think March. Yeah, that happened. Yeah, so we did that. September? No, Zero's in September. Does the tree happen in Zero? Because I thought the tree happened in Azure. Because it's the Azure tree. Tree is Azure. Yeah, because because yeah, that's why I referenced it, because the tree was there. But yeah, we have to wait until September for Zero, and then March for the other one. So now we are doing another one where there's no required quest, because now we have to go to all of the shrines that we haven't done.
Where do you want to
Azure
go?
Spring of 2023. Okay, Aqua Shrine. We go Aqua Shrine first, because it's the closest one to where it spits us out anyway. And this is one where we get to see the one unintended time save, I guess, of the game. Or at least developer unintended. And it is with Sarah, because she, as far as I understand, has the longest range of any field attack of any of the characters in the game, even the character that uses a bow. And that's able to kind of break stuff. And I'm taking that unit out just because I don't want to accidentally encounter it when I run backwards. Yeah, there we go. Wait, spring of 2023. When does spring happen? Okay, no, spring happens there. Okay, no. I forgot the order of the seasons. I forgot when winter actually happened. But yeah, so this area, you hit these things. You're supposed to shoot them. Because they're like little pinholes, but she can smack them. But basically, you can see that pinhole there. Boom, she can hit the back of it. The back of those things doesn't exist, and her range is long enough to activate it.
That's a real beast of a monster.
Yeah, unfortunately, that one, her ranged attack is unfortunate in that if she's not looking directly at it, like head on, it's kinda inconsistent. Which is why I like using Fee in the fire one. Yeah. See, usually only one of those messes with me, but both of them, I think what happened is I got too close. We live in New England, Bison. Spring never happens. You know what? That's very true. It goes from winter to summer. But basically, because I got that one early, the water's still down, but it's actually not. So we're able to run in, and we're doing the first night, and I am doing pretty good, I think. So, because each of the nights isn't like a chapter end kind of boss, I don't have them set up for individual splits. Frankly, I probably should have done that, but I didn't think I needed to. Can confirm, am also New England. Yeah. So yeah, so because God, like I'm trying to think like when officially, like what are the months that are like largely defined as winter? Because like, I'm pretty sure like the quote unquote leaked or thought of date was from like the Nvidia Shield leak. And I thought that one had it at like March. Okay, so here we are in the Terror Shrine. Terror Shrine is kind of annoying. I think I'm going the wrong way. Because once again we get close. Yeah, I went the wrong way. We get very close corridors, and enemies will just encounter us. It's unfortunate. And I wish the minimap was bigger. And also a little bit more clear on elevation and other things. But the first section is, hey, you need to run around, hit all these levers, get the stairs up. Yeah, unfortunately, the big things in the hallway kind of suck. I wish they ran away when they knew they would die. And they disappear once I run away from them, so I assume that the smoke grenade actually is just a nuke and it kills them. And I have Laura equipped because, basically, once again, this guy, you can sometimes get by him if he's turned around, but most of the time he isn't, so he's just an assume fight. Yeah, you need a big, heavy character, someone with, I think, the blunt weapon damage type, the bash weapon type, which both Milliam and Laura fulfill, to hit these things to knock them down to make bridges. Now, this area, pretty easy to go into. You just ascend, so you just find the thing that goes up and go up it. Honestly, one of the easier, in terms of knowing where you need to go, second shrines. Springs towards the end of March, and I think the leak was also that. Okay, cool, nice, love it. Or Ranger Base. And I think that kind of tracks to, I think, the expected release date, because I believe it's, like, the release order is going to be 0, Azure, Reverie, no Yuta. So if 0's coming out in September, and the other 3 are coming out relatively evenly spaced in 2023, then kind of makes sense for it to be around there. Okay, Return of the Courageous, and then we go to the final shrine. And we switched up Sarah again, because we once again need someone to shoot. Not someone to shoot, but someone who shoots. Yeah, so this one is one where we go up, and then come around here, come down there. And then we come over here, hit this one switch. And we come over here. And in universe, it makes no sense why we even have to do that. Every single one of the characters with us could just go across that gap with like a jump. Gonna be honest. like that's not a far jump, I would say, for any of these characters. It's kind of ridiculous. But basically, yeah, the reason why we need Sarah is because there's distance there. Scratch my neck really quickly, and we need to shoot those things. And then right over here... Nope, we take a left over there. I'm a fool. But luckily I didn't accidentally get out of my way. There we go. Okay. No one will ever tell me that I'm not humble enough to call myself a fool. Boom. Get that. Because that raises the bridge to move on. And then shoot that. Like a badass posing like James Bond. But unfortunately, we're not in Borderlands, so there's no badasses here. Okay, unfortunately, that one was unlucky. He was looking right at us and in the middle of the...
That's a real beast of a
the
monster.
hallway. Sometimes you get lucky and he'll have his back turned, and you can slip by him on either side, because he's relatively flat. He's kind of like a pancake. Or like a, what are they called? Sunfish. Just very vertical. But here we come in, and whereas the previous shrines had these knights, these golems, this one is instead this Vita Clotildes, a witch slash opera singer It's her familiar, and it's a big bird. Okay.
That's that.
Honestly, I consider myself good that I only lost 13 seconds in between last split and that one, given that I took a few wrong turns and took several unintended combats in each of the shrines. So, yay. But now with that done, we can now move on to, honestly, where I think the story kind of hits it. I don't want to say hits its stride, but you can definitely feel the pace kind of pickup. Or not even pace pickup, but it's like, okay, here's where a lot of major story events are happening back to back to back to back. Immediately with very little, very little other stuff in between them. Bit late, but did you do anything fun for Mother's Day? My mother was at the Cape, because, as I have stated before, New England, so Cape Cod, popular place for people to go. I don't like the Cape. I didn't go down to the Cape, because I had work, that full week. Oh, wait, restart. This is actually one where I need to be careful about who I actually pick, because who I pick, because we're basically splitting the party into two, and we need to do 2 fights, as well as another one. So what we're doing here is a boss fight against 2 models of the previous bosses, which is not bad. The strat is to beat the crap out of the big one to build up some CP, which you will use against the small one to burn them, and do that. So that was pretty ideal. But no, I didn't do anything fun on Mother's Day. I'm taking my mother out to a steak place on this upcoming Saturday. The most fun thing I did on Sunday was go to a mattress firm to try out some mattresses, which I mentioned on the previous stream. And then after I tried them out, went home, made sure they weren't like, jacking up the prices compared to what I could get online. They weren't. So then I went back on, I should have hit go in, went back on Monday and actually bought the mattress, and it's being delivered on Friday. Very fast delivery time. Pretty amazing. Maize. Corn. But yeah, I'm gonna be quite happy at that point, because I'm gonna sleep like a baby, hopefully. Okay, and this is the main reason why I made sure that I didn't use Laura in the main party, and it's because I want Laura in the sub party, because she has a stable enough S-craft to one-shot everyone. Now, if I didn't pick Milliam, I think she's far enough down in the default pick order that she isn't a default character in the second team, whereas Laura is a first row character, and therefore you don't have to think about it.
Wow, that must have been tough. Oh, okay.
I'm so sorry. No, don't need to save. Get out of here. I don't need to save my progress. If the game crashes, I just do it again. I've only been playing for an hour and 31 minutes anyway. Not that much time lost. I've lost more time playing games. I remember back when I got my OG PSP originally. I was playing, I think it was called like Helix Force or something. It was a JRPG. But I didn't know that you needed to buy a separate memory card for the PSP, so I didn't have one. And what happened was it ran out of battery. Where is the rooftop? There it is. It ran out of battery and I lost a good amount of time. But oh well. Okay, there we go. And then we come here. Park. Come over here. Yeah, because for some reason I thought it went... See, I thought that the Fast Travel Rooftop was just rooftop, not academy rooftop. And then we enter the dormitory. This is where, depending on the bonding events and romance stuff that you've done in the game, you would be able to essentially spend the night before the big battle with your chosen partner. Of course, Toa is the only legitimate one. But because you don't do any of that and we're going for speed, you just go alone. But I realize it's been a bit rude of me. I answered my stuff for my Mother's Day. How did you guys spend your Mother's Day? Did you guys treat your moms? You guys have fun? Go out for lunch or dinner? Dinner? You, and you. That's fine. Commence operation. I worked? Okay.
Oh,
Oh, well.
okay.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, god darn it. Gosh darn it. I forgot that that's actually... So that's another thing where it doesn't matter who you pick, because you immediately get prompted for another party pick anyway. So it doesn't matter. Going on, it's canon come CS3 anyway. Is it canon? Because I know doing every quest is canon, basically playing New Game Plus is canon, because that's the only way you can get the cutscene finding out who Reen's father is early, or get more hints into it. And it's also the only way you can get the Instructor Thomas cutscene at the end. So much that Reen's not in a relationship with anyone. Okay. Yeah, it really is kind of like... Yeah, it's just one of those things where no relationship can really be canon. Finding at the end of CS2 and the advertisement broke any promises. Yeah. Okay. So now we come in here. And I have hit 2 on, so now I can just do Flame Dragon and not have to worry about anything. But I am swapping him out for him. Her. Sarah as a she. Because I want to have my S-crafts available. But because I have hit 2, most of these guys I can one-shot. But I believe that this one, they're spread out far enough that a Gale actually does get them all. So that's pretty cool. So that's nice. I was actually kind of expecting it not to, but oh well. So I'm able to actually save 1 S-craft beyond what I thought I did, which I believe means I am now perfectly spaced to have just enough. Yeah, I know I promised to stay with you and fight for the future and whatnot, but I gotta go. I'm fighting a sham war. Yeah. Let's get an anime adaptation! And some fancy brunch place. I stayed over for Mother's Day. We had another reason to be a stay over. Okay. Dude, brunch is, like, I feel like brunch is one of my favorite meals, right? Because, like, you can just eat so many different kinds of food without feeling, like, weird about it.
Let's move.
God darn it. Gosh darn it. I thought Reen had his S-craft up. I was talking about the annexation. Yeah, the first one? I thought the first one was the sham one. The northern one. I guess the second one. Okay. Oh wait, no. Okay, you're talking about the sham one is the Calvert, or not the Calvert, the crossbow one, and the second one is the northern one. There's no way to carry saves across console generations, so yeah, no bromance for us. Okay. Wait, are you serious? That didn't... Oh, hey, remember what I said about how I need to remember to do one specific thing at a certain point? And it's biting me in the butt. Hey, guess whose S-craft I used? Physical, you don't need defense. Waterfall, we're good. Guess whose S-craft I used? First is dry. Okay, I didn't realize first was... Wait, I thought... See, I wasn't counting that one because that one wasn't... Because it wasn't Jirai. Am I thinking of the special economic zone? Because I thought that was Jirai. Oh, god damn it. Okay, see, so when he's not at 200 CP, he doesn't actually do enough damage with an S-craft to one-shot them, surprisingly. Still got X, yeah. Third was the end. Okay. First was Jirai, second was the... Okay. Wanted to do a bonfire for a friend's birthday. He ended up stepping on a nail in some old barnwood, probably half an inch in his foot. Very fun. Ooh. Rough. Did he have shoes on, or was he barefoot? Because I wouldn't want to be near any old barn barefoot. I hope he got a tetanus shot afterwards. Jesus. Jesus, take the wheel. Take it from my lamb. Get it? Because the lamb is signified a lot in Christianity. Continue. But this is essentially the point where where there's no more side content to really do until we really beat the final dungeon. Yeah, so going into the final dungeon. Totally final. Totally final. Absolutely fine. There's nothing after this. The game that never ends. It goes on and on and on and on and on and on. Okay, so this is probably one of my biggest gripes with this in particular. Basically, there are two characters that you have to bring in the final dungeon, and it's Fee and Laura. I use Laura anyway, but you have to bring Fee for... You have to basically bring these two characters into the final dungeon for story reasons, which I think kind of sucks. Because the final dungeon, to me, is meant to be the dungeon that you can just do whatever the heck you want. But you're not allowed to. And straight into a shoe half-inch guesstimate. Ooh, god damn. So wearing a shoe, dude. Oosh, Jesus. Okay, so there's no avoiding that. Just, you know what? Word to the wise, just stay away from barns. Nothing ever good comes from barns. Other than trees.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Okay, so going to Sarah because a lot of these things can be initiated from a distance away. So it's better to just have the ability to gun at all times. And that's what we do. So we come over here, nope, that's... Where is the thing? Over there. It even says it's the final dungeon. Would Milliam lie to you? I don't think she would purposely lie. I think it's more she doesn't know. She doesn't know that there was more to come. Bison, you're talking to someone who... I need to focus on movement in this area. God darn it! Gosh darn it!
Let's keep moving.
This is the most encounters I've had in a long time. Anyway.
That one's gonna be a pain.
Okay.
Careful.
They were grouped up. Alright, someone who viewed all enforcing conversations through the PSP Sky version playthrough. Oh god. I want to hear about with fancy teleports and newfangled menus. Too much work to change party members. You know what? True that. Okay. I don't think I actually need to...
That one's gonna be a pain.
Get out of my way. Don't encounter me, please. Okay, good. Saved it. There are a lot of switches you just don't need to hit in this dungeon if you're just going fast. Because so many of them are just the ability to access completely optional chests or go back to where you were. There are people who didn't. This guy. Yep. Nope. Played Sky on the PC. Birthday boy ran on foot, so he couldn't really drive enough long enough. He had to go to the DMV the next morning. Ooh, that's rough.
What?
Okay.
Impossible.
Onward.
Okay, so I'm surprised.
Evil will.
So I'm wondering if literally the attack courts that I don't have on because I subbed out the hit courts is actually just enough to make it so on easy Reen isn't able to one-shot this entire encounter. Oh, I know a guy skips Zins in the rest of my shows. I'm playing friends who never let him live it down. Yeah, no. I didn't. First time playing Sky was PC. And I'm kind of glad it was that way. God damn. Okay, there we go. For some reason, her second slash is a little bit further out. The backswing. You know, little did you know, the human body extends on the backswing. Okay, this is an annoying one because it's a big spider. And if I cannot get the encounter, it's pretty nice. Then we come this way.
That's a real
and
beast of a
dodge
monster.
the big thing, and then we go this way and dodge the big thing. Then we go this way and dodge another big thing. That's basically this dungeon. We go a certain way and to dodge a big thing. And travel along the routes that don't really look like paths until you really are on top of them. Yes. Darn it.
Here I go.
Smoke grenade.
Let's
Yeah,
keep
that
moving.
one's hard to get by. You skip as inspection lines, you're missing out on learning that cancer exists in Zemuria. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
reached
He
the
claims
end
it
of
would
the
take too
second
long to
stratum.
grind Zen up, as if there aren't a ton of shining palms. That's true. That's the nice part about the first two Sky games, where it's just like, well, the first Sky first chapter, very nice because the shining palms are just there, just out on the field, and if you know they're there, you can just grind them. Second chapter, if you know the enemies that have a chance to have a shining palm in them, then you're pretty good.
Righto!
Okay, Buster Arm. I don't normally use a craft there, but I figured that would be a little bit faster than using an S-craft. Because there is a little bit of lag between, like, turboing through an S-craft. Like, it doesn't negate the animation. The animation still happens, it's just really fast in black screens. Okay. So now this is the part where I believe casually on my first run through ever, I forgot that I needed to actually take out the Nosferatu. I was talking to me about zero palms. Get the heck out of here.
That's the power of being.
Okay, so now that's one Nosferatu gone, and I think I get to the second Nosferatu quickly enough that it doesn't actually, like, Reen isn't actually able to get all his stuff back, all his CP, but it's 1322. It's a code that I remembered on my first run through, and it has been in there every time. See, I just like to imagine that someone was able to blindly do it and didn't even know that choosing the wrong door initiated combat. Because, like, there had to be at least one person that somehow, through sheer force of will, or luck, God's will, or I guess Adios' will, just decided that, you know what? We're gonna let this person not have this encounter. Okay. Yeah, so I go at this fast enough to the point where the Reen doesn't get a 200 CPS craft by here because Megalith is not as broken as in CS1. Those anyways, zero palms are crap. They only spawn check if you leave a safe zone town gate, but most are at least a screen away from towns. Yeah, so grinding them is a little bit annoying. A bit annoying. I say. Yes. As opposed to sky palms that spawn check on screen load. So does that check even remain in the Kai versions, Fontano? Oh god darn it! That was just bad. That was me. Because that would, like, I could have ran around that guy. Those guys don't even move fast. Could have attacked him and killed him, saved the time there. Damn. Believe so? Okay. That one was just poor movement management on my part. Yeah, I've gotten, I think out of all the runs I've ever done of this game, this is the one that has had the most unintentional encounters. Which, you know what, I guess for a marathon submission run is pretty good to get an idea of a estimation of time that it would take to do it. Don't remember them being there, but I'm only in chapter 2 in Kai.
Finally.
Okay.
That took way too long.
Okay, let me come in here. And this one I'm relatively confident Reen is not going to be able to one-shot. So I'm just going to immediately instead use Laura instead.
Let's move.
Because she is stronger.
Evil will fall.
Wherever in the game I played it, like, which honestly, how the hell am I playing a game in Chinese? Though, to be fair, I've done the game, I played it like 3 times. You're not reading it, you just know what's going on and what happens. But here's a cool fight, and we're not gonna watch it. And then we go up, And we are getting closer and closer to the summit. Now, the nice part about after each of those boss fights is the characters that were in the party get
Stay on guard,
100
everyone.
CP.
That's no
So
ordinary
Laura is at
foe.
100 CP right now, even though she just used Nestcraft.
Stay on guard, everyone.
Okay, and I got lucky
no
there
ordinary
because the
foe.
big guy was looking away from me.
That one's gonna
This
be a trap.
one, not so lucky. If I get... there we go. Perfect. So, on those cutaways, enemies de-aggro, and they have to
Take
re-aggro
care around that
afterwards.
one.
So you have a moment's chance to save it. And luckily, I was a good enough distance away from the enemy to be able to just circle around. Okay. God. Once again, starts on the negative. Okay, now we're going into the final boss stretch, quote-unquote final boss. Yeah. Quote-unquote final boss is how it is best described. So I don't believe Reen can one-shot these guys either, so I'm going to immediately use Milliam, because I think she is equivalently or stronger than Laura. I used Northern Limits, not even. I did not need to S-craft with Milliam there. Oh well, whatever. Doesn't matter. Because immediately we're going into some Gundam fighting. Only lost 3 seconds compared to the previous split. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Even with the encounters. So now we come in here. Do one to the left for base. He does a thing, enter the thing. So now it's not one to the left, probably. Do that. You do flare. Okay, we'll just do body. I like the 3.
Working.
Okay. So now we are all glowing blade-like, and we're just going to do flame. And flame is just a good one to do, because if we are able to get fire on him, it's good damage. And if we aren't, it usually will break him. It'll usually crit. Okay, and then we'll do finisher to do bonus damage there. That way we don't have to take more turns. And then and we're going into the quote-unquote final boss. But yeah, speaking of the mattress, I'm upgrading from a full to a queen. So I'm going to have even bigger matches, and it's going to be nice. I'll be able to roll around a little bit more. Yeah, I'm excited. Although my queen-size sheets and stuff aren't coming until Tuesday. So I'm just going to have poorly fitting sheets on my bed for a couple days. Oh well. Okay, proceed, whatever. So this is where it would change in like hard and nightmare, because I would actually open up the camp menu and change who's actually fighting, because I wouldn't be able to one-shot him there. But with these guys, I totally can. And this is why you would need Elliot to kind of be a support. Or I think I actually routed Elliot out. I think I routed him out and instead went with wow, that was the fastest third one I think I ever did. Instead routed Milliam to be in the first phase instead of the second. I think that's what I did. So yeah, you don't even need Elliot, as far as I remember. But yeah, so that's the final boss. You know, time is when credits roll. Joke's on you. We still got a bit more. I mean, time is on when... time isn't really on credits when credits roll. Time is when you kill the final boss. Credits happen soon after, but... yeah, no, it's not one of those games where credit roll is time, because you lose... Basically, it's one of those things where it's like, once you're not in control of anything anymore, that's when time happens, and you lose all control as soon as you kill the final boss, because then it's just cutscenes. And credits happen after that. So hey, big plot revelations going on here, related to Reen and other individuals, Eustace's family as well. And then here we get to the biggest time save of New Game Plus, where I can view where I can choose to only view key events, and we do that, and therefore I don't have to do several screens of a dungeon with 2 characters who are not grossly overleveled and are not OP as crap, and also in a dungeon that I don't know the movement for. Which is kind of the most important part of that entire reason. Because I don't know how to get through it. But basically, this is just cutscenes that you can't skip. And the fastest thing I can do is hold circle while turbo mode is going on. So... oh, but now I can stretch. Stretch Armstrong. Okay. Yuck. Put that over there. Oh. But yeah, I'm glad I had the time to go turn on my fan, because talking a lot, high intensity situation, speedrunning, and just streaming in a closed room for the most part, gets warm, gets hot, get hot under the collar, just like, oof. Gotta air yourself out. Oh my god, look at how fast they are. Sonic fast. Gotta go fast. Yeah, so that's that. Advertisement done, and now we're back in Arabonia. And, more cutscenes. So the unfortunate part about this is, like, there's no way to speed this up. There's just no way, so that timer's just gonna keep ticking up. But basically, one of the areas of the game where there is the biggest potential time save is actually coming up, because the actual final dungeon is a dungeon that probably should have been incorporated, not at the end of the game, because it is a procedurally generated dungeon based on, like, certain patterns, basically. And you basically go up the floors, and if you get a good floor structure, then you're pretty safe. Because you can go up fast. Oh darn it, I went to the bad one too early. Engineering building. Okay, because I forgot that there's actually an order that you have to do. You have to do engineering building first. And then, because this allows you to talk to Valma. You still have to go from 40 to 80 in 1 week too, or is that just Minnesota? No, that didn't happen. Luckily. Although it did go from like 40 to like 65, 70, but not 80. But yeah. So the final dungeon is basically lets you use any character that you've ever used, essentially. It is quite literally intended to boost you for New Game Plus playthroughs, because you can get special chests that just drop really, really extra good quartz, like multiple domination quartz. By the end of my first casual playthrough, I actually had 2 domination quartz, which you're usually only able to get 1 based on AP rewards. And the enemies are tougher and give more experience, which helps you level up. And it's like, hey, why was this not available to me throughout the entire game? Oh well. So now we need to go to the engineering building, because we are entering the second mandatory motorcycle race. Both motorcycle races in this game are mandatory. There is no optional motorcycle race, surprisingly. As far as I remember. There might be one quest where you have to catch something, maybe? I can't quite remember. I'm willing to bet there's probably an optional motorcycle thing. But yeah, so we win because it's a little bit faster. Once again, we get an AP screen, and I think the conversation that occurs afterwards is actually faster when you win. Weather flips so hard, and it's been muggy with constant thunderstorms. Oof, rough. Okay, and now we go out to the Academy Field. Talk to these fellas. Let the battle begin. So we pick... wait, I actually picked... I picked wrong there, but it doesn't really matter. Because I'm on easy. And I can just S-craft these guys.
That's that.
Yeah, so basically I do 3 rounds, 2 against students, and then 1 against teachers, which is why this split is called teachers. Pretty self-explanatory. And I can still, once again, S-craft every time because I get 100 CP back, so it doesn't really change anything. Okay, and then I'm gonna S-craft with Laura because I don't remember how much health those two have, but Laura's my safe bet when I want to one-shot things. Okay, and then the end of this quest happens, and it's pretty nice. And then there we go, and then I do this because it initiates this cutscene. And then I go to the old schoolhouse there. Inspect the building. And now we're going in after talking to a whole bunch of our friends. Okay, lost 30 some odd seconds from the previous split. Not too bad. So, if I get really, 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 really lucky with this final dungeon, I, could have a time save. I'm probably not going to beat the final time. That would be insanely lucky and also have really good fights. But I might be able to get back some of the 4 minutes that I am above the thing, depending. And this is actually one of the reasons why on PC I have my FOV slider all the way out. And it's because basically this dungeon, you go up elevators, and those elevators have towers, and those towers are in the distance. So having a wide FOV allows you to see the towers a little bit easier. Now, unfortunately, I got not a great first level. There are no optional bikers. There's an optional swimming section. Ah, okay. See, I could have sworn there was like a catch the bandit type thing or something. I don't remember. But yeah, the easiest and best levels. Oh, you're gorgeous. The best levels to get are the very straightforward ones where there's no ladders and you can kind of see the straight paths you need to take to get to the boss, essentially. Those are the ones that are easily the most desirable. I have to win so many swimming races and max air bonus 8%. Of course you do. Because you're crazy. Okay, so we do this because he does good damage, and then we just base attack through it because he does enough damage to the point where a regular attack that has waterfall domination, all the attack quartz, and the booster, the really good master quartz is enough to do quite a considerable amount. And it saves us having to regen CP on the character. Yeah, see, that's why we don't like you, Angelica. That's kind of weird. But yeah, so we get ones like this where they're long and windy, but you see them in the distance, so they're not the worst because at least you don't get lost. But it just takes time. CS3 is ran out poorly, but I have not ran out CS4 max AP. Ooh. Where is it? Darn it. See, and this is why. See, I started right there, so the thing was behind me. And I could have easily gotten lost if I didn't bother to swivel my camera. Right here. See, perfect. If I could get every level like that, that would be amazing. Because that's literally, depending on what I got in my best run, that is 30 some odd seconds of time save. Depending. Okay, there we go. Once again, I'm still saving my S-crafts because I don't get many random encounters in here. In this dungeon, surprisingly, because, frankly, there's enough space most of the time to run around them. I say as I'm about to get into a whole bunch of combat. Okay, no, it's over here. Yeah, this one was a deceptive one, because you could see it, and there were places that look like they should go, but there's only one path. And luckily I was able to kind of deduce it from the shape of stuff. But basically, if I use my S-crafts here on the characters that only have the ice crowns and not megalith, then before the final boss, I need to stop and use consumable items, which I have plenty of because I'm New Game Plus and I have them, to restore their CP to sufficient levels to be able to do the final boss. Now, would this one have been better to probably use one of my S-crafts on? Probably. Because I think final boss, actual does not require all of my S-crafts. Oh god. Yeah, this is not a, I'm not getting very lucky with the size of the majority of the levels. I've gotten a couple good ones, but okay, that one is kind of ridiculous that he hit me. He was facing the other direction and moving somewhere else, and yet somehow I was able to loop between those two. Yeah. So we come in here.
Nice work, guys. Let's keep it up.
Okay, I need to get up and around there.
Yeah,
you're weird. I only picked her accidentally. I wanted to pick someone else. But once you get your main 4 characters, it doesn't matter who it is. So long as you have enough original Class 7 members to do things. Because you need to have a certain number of Class 7 members in your party to do these fights. So you can't just only pick optional characters. But yeah, so this is where I would come in, and we get this cutscene, and it's really cool looking. And depending on who had low CP, we use the seasonal hot pot to get their CP back, and it heals 77 CP, so heals it up pretty darn quickly. I didn't need to use it on Rain, or I probably need to use one on Rain, because he's still regenning CP. But I did anyway. And then, if I am correct, what I should do is use it in probably a Laura, Milliam, Reen, Sarah order. Or maybe Sarah, Reen order?
Let's move.
There we go, and that is time. Yes! So that is the New Game Plus Cold Steel 2 speedrun. In-game time, hour 47, 40 seconds, even. RTA, 2 hours, 5 minutes, and 3 seconds. Now, as you can see, definitely not my best performance compared to my PB/world record. So, you know, there's places to improve, but I would say that this is relatively honest in terms of what could be expected in a marathon. So, yeah, this is what I would consider my submission. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a